a lot of people don't realize that Discovery has got over 20 million policyholders. It's nearly in 20 countries, and with its Vitality program, etc., it really is a powerhouse around the world. And I think most people are aware of Discovery locally, and obviously of Adrian Gore, the CEO. But now here is a company that's been around since, what, 1992 or so, and it's growing and growing and growing and becoming more and more powerful. And it's very clever because they argue that insurance and medical cover should not be a grudge person. It's actually something that you will take on to help your lifestyle, to improve your lifestyle. And now, of course, later on this year, they're launching their bank, which will be an additional wrapper around this improving your lifestyle. So get away from the grudge purchase of insurance. Look at it as something that you can get benefits and rewards as well.
Yeah, I mean, just and help us understand exactly how this report is done. I mean, what measures do you use to actually value these brands?
Right. Brand Finance been around 22 years, London-based, 20-odd countries. Internationally standards recognized for what it does, and throughout the course of the year, starting in January, we have the best global brands, all sectors, and then during the course of the year we produce sector reports and we produce country reports. Our South African report, for instance, is due out probably early July. So this is the sector report that came out earlier this week. I'm delighted you're talking insurance, because later this week came out the football report, which other people are covering as well. But insurance came out on Tuesday, and I think football was Thursday, and football's tending to eclipse the insurance side. But insurance, as you say, is crucial. The Chinese have now got more companies within the top 10 than even the Americans, and this is where we're finding in most sectors the Chinese are coming up.
What is it that they're doing, though? What is it that they're doing to attract such appeal? Other companies, perhaps not only Discovery. What is it, these top 10?
Well, basically, digitally as well, it's changed the world. And as we know, the Chinese have moved out all around the world. They're the biggest inward investors into Africa, for instance. And so their banks and their insurance companies follow. Now, I think the top 4 banks now are Chinese, for instance, as well. So the insurance companies, whilst they've got the top 2, they've got another couple in the top 10. And this is where it's a global business. Now, there was a time perhaps 10, 15 years ago where you talk about local brands, even South African brands. Every brand now can become global because of digital. And this is what Discovery have done. You know, when I realized they were in nearly 20 countries, I was a bit shocked. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, there was 200 million policyholders, you said.
Yes, exactly.
That's amazing. You know, as I was preparing for this interview with Karabo, CNBC Africa's political economy reporter, but, you know, a friend of yours.
Special K, yeah.
Special K, he came up with this concept that perhaps, you know, familiarity breeds contempt. And he was relating it to the fact that, you know, every second or third ad that you see on South African television is like an OUTsurance ad. And perhaps because it's just so much in your face, people are fatigued by it. Discovery not advertising as competitively as the likes of your OUTsurance or even the Liberty to a degree. Do you think that perhaps this is the case whereby Discovery has set itself apart by not being so much in people's faces, or is it all down to digital?
I think you can argue from both sides, but we see a brand as any brand in any sector. You have to be aware of it. You have to understand what it does. You have to have familiarity. You know, you can be aware of lots of brands that you're not going to ever use. You'd never wear a T-shirt with a certain logo on. But then it comes to the point, do you have preference? And so would you prefer to go to a Discovery? And then would you stay loyal? Or are you going to move around? You know, we live in a so-called promiscuous society. We move around on various brands. But awareness is the start, and a lot of ad agencies will talk about awareness. Well, that's not enough, of course. You've got to go through consideration, preference, adoption, and use, and then staying loyal. And this is what we argue about strong brands. Whatever your brands, they're very personal, but how loyal are you? How much do you move around? If you buy a certain cosmetic, does it have to be that brand or that brand, or are you able to take other things? And this is where, when you actually look at the package that Discovery is producing, it's almost like a lifestyle package. Now, in computers, I'm an addict of Apple. I've got an Apple computer, an iPad, an iPhone, so I'm locked into Apple in a sense. Well, likewise, Discovery with insurance and lifestyle want you almost, in a nice way, to be locked into their system as well.
Yeah.
And that's where the bank is going to add another level to it.
And also this thing of Discovery, of rewarding you, I mean, when things are going right, because you know the traditional insurance model is a matter of, you know, you get your claim once things go wrong, or so if you qualify for a claim. But with Discovery, if you're good, and even if you haven't put in a claim, you still get rewarded, and perhaps this is what is attracting that loyalty from customers, no?
You're absolutely right, but this is where we're into perception and reality and what's going on. Now, some people, you mentioned outsurance, will go to them because it seems their premiums are cheaper. Do they pay out? Yes, they appear to. But do you have a perception that they're helpful, that Discovery is helpful? And perception is a very important thing to play with here, because perception doesn't always match the real world.
So here's the thing though, I mean, Jeremy, we all know that the tough times that we are facing right now, and it's about the insurance companies and how they deal with this difficulty, because first thing you cut out when things are tough is insurance for many people. How do you see the game continuing in this very difficult environment?
I think it's going to be very, very interesting, because, you know, if we were to do a table of hated brands, you know, some people hate insurance companies, you know, and hate is a strong word. They certainly dislike them. And
no, they hate them, I know,
yes.
Because when it comes to claim time, they bombard you with all these T's and C's that they didn't actually tell you when you were signing up for the policy.
And the point size is like 4 point, which you couldn't read in any case.
Maybe with your glasses.
Well, as you get older, you can read less in any case. So this is where I think they've got to be very, very careful to keep that balance. Yes, insurance claims will be going up, inflation is going up, but they've got to keep the hearts and minds of their clients, of their customers, on side. And that's going to be the challenge, because, you know, if you're a member of Discovery, you look at the premiums going up, and they're going up quite aggressively, I have to say.
Yeah, too aggressively for my liking. But Jeremy, we are out of time. Thanks so much for your time.